Listen, the Royal Commission report, the last time we were talking, you came out because you were getting briefed. Remember, it was about this time last week.
Yes, Wednesday last week.
Yeah, that's right. And went back, you got briefed again. Was it everything you thought it would be?
Yes, everything I thought it would be and more. I think I haven't read the 14 pages in there in its entirety yet, but I'm making my way through it. And yeah, I have to commend the Royal Commission. They've done a very, very thorough job. They've pretty much left no stone unturned, and they've really packed some pretty significant punches. So yeah, the report is more than what I was expecting, so you're very impressed with it.
The thing that I was interested in, just first of all, the broad brush, I think the media covered that adequately in terms of there are so many people that had been abused in state care over the years in particular. And then, of course, there's the Prime Minister saying, well, listen, we'll be giving a formal apology later on. I guess they're delaying that. Is it your understanding they're delaying that until November because they want to get to November as to how they're going to officially respond to the report? Is that your understanding?
I can't speak to how that date's been decided. I'm actually not sure, to be honest. I think that the government has had this report for some time in draft form, and so have the agencies that were reported on for natural justice purposes. So I'm not quite sure why the apology is being delayed till November. But I think what's important is that in the report, the recommendations for who should apologise are much wider than just the Prime Minister. So I've got the Solicitor General, the heads of all the ministries that were profiled, the heads of all the churches. So it'd be interesting to see. It could be, and this is merely speculation, whether this time until November will be used for the different agencies and church groups and NGOs to discuss together how they intend to implement wider apologies from a group wider than the Prime Minister.
Now, one of the things that came out and certainly struck us down here in Otago was that the head of the New Zealand Law Society, Fraser Barton, who is, well, you'll know him well in actual fact as the head of the New Zealand Law Society, has taken leave from that particular position. I also think he's stepped down from a couple of other positions as well, because he was named in the report along with the former chief executive, a woman by the name of Gillian Bremner, from Presbyterian Support, as destroying records so that they could, well, between them, the suggestion is destroying, in the Royal Commission report, that they were involved in the destruction of individual records of children to protect the reputation of both Presbyterian Support, the organisation, and the Presbyterian Church in general. Can I first of all get your reaction to that particular revelation?
Well, it's only in the report's only mentioned as an oral comment that was made. I obviously wasn't there. I don't know what was said, but I think it is appropriate, as Fraser Barton has said, that while this is being investigated, that he steps down from the position as the head of the Law Society. But it's now a matter for the Law Society, and I'm not sure that I'm quite qualified to comment on that from a professional point of view. But yes, I think it's with the right people to look into further.
Well, you see, no, the thing that struck me here was the element of guilt, can I say, and this is why I'm so fascinated in it. The suggestion in the Royal Commission report is that a lawyer, in this particular case Fraser Barton, advised a particular organisation that were involved in looking after children that they could destroy their records to ensure that they did not suffer institutional reputational loss. Okay. Now, I'm interested in the idea that now, to be honest with you, I'm a bit of and please forgive me, Lydia, but I'm just going to be direct about it. I think lawyers are a bit like prostitutes. You pay them for a service, at the end of the day, and you can pay them to represent you whether you're right or wrong. And so it's just a sort of a paid transaction. the thing that interested me was, Lydia, if somebody gives legal advice, the web in this particular case of the Royal Commission has caught Fraser Barton. And the suggestion is that what he did was wrong. Is it wrong for a lawyer to say you can do this and to any of those organisations, whether they were agencies of the state or whether they were private sector organisations or NGOs like Presbyterian Support? Should they be also, and their advice, exposed to public scrutiny and to public punishment, if you like?
Well, yeah, just as a hypothetical, because obviously we don't know what happened here, but as a hypothetical, as a lawyer, you have an overriding duty to the court. So you can't advise someone to do something that would be in breach of your obligation to the court. So in this hypothetical situation, there was a order released for agencies to retain records in case of a Royal Commission of Inquiry. So depending on what was said and when it was said, that would go to the whether there is a breach of the lawyer's conduct code or not.
Right. Okay. And two people, I think one associated with the victims, or one I thought associated with you, have laid complaints. Is that right? So one of the complainants was somebody who represented the victims on this issue.
Yes, so one of the complainants is Sam Benton, who is a partner at Cooper Legal, the firm that I work at. Yeah,
okay. And I imagine he wouldn't have taken that action unilaterally. Listen, next issue. The next question is going to be compensation. And frankly, to be honest with you, apologies are crap, Lydia. Easy words to say. Whether they come from the Prime Minister or some government or church organisation, easy words to say, written out by some PR person. Put your head down, you appear contrite. I mean, to be honest with you, I just don't rate apologies. The next question is, how are you going to atone for the errors that you've made, which sort of is the next step. Is that where you're heading as well?
Yeah, so I think what's really important is that, and I know the terms of reference didn't allow for that within the final report, but with any response that we, the people, the state, those working with survivors recognise that this is not a historic issue. This is continuing today. We have our youngest client is 18. We have a new instruction approximately every day, and that's from a lot of children or young people in their early 20s. So I think a response needs to look at, first of all, compensating those who have been harmed, and compensation's not just money. Compensation is helping someone to fix or to address the wrong that has been caused to them. So that can be helping people with rehabilitation if they've gone on and offended and ended up in the criminal justice system. It can be helping people with small things like tattoo removal. You know, a lot of the boys' homes was the first time children tattooed themselves, and that stuck with them into their adulthood and ostracised them in society. It can be things like support with housing, to help with chronic health issues. It can be support with addiction issues, as well as proper compensation that actually addresses and aligns us with other Commonwealth nations, such as Australia, where they pay around 10 times more than what the average government compensation is in New Zealand. So it's about, first of all, trying to break the cycle of abuse that continues today to prevent this happening in the future, and also recognising the harm that was caused to people in state care by providing effective redress to them.